Hi guys, this video contains MCU spoilers from the get-go. You have been warned. At the end of this year's Avengers Infinity War, only a few of the MCU's most iconic heroes were left alive. Captain America, Thor, Bruce Banner, Black Widow, Rocket, and Rhodey were among them. But Tony Stark was also notably spared after Thanos' devastating finger snap.
Well, you're not wrong.
This video will explore one way Stark, the MCU's flagship character since 2008, might go on to save the day in the as-yet-untitled 4th Avengers movie. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button. It's the best way of keeping up to date with all of Screen Rant's great new videos.
I am Iron Man.
As we've already touched upon, Robert Downey Jr.'s Tony Stark was one of the lucky ones, if you consider losing half the people you know and love lucky. He survived when Thanos snapped his fingers and erased half of all life in the universe at the end of this year's Avengers Infinity War. The nature of Stark's survival on the distant planet Titan would suggest he's extremely important going forward. Doctor Strange sacrificed the Time Stone to save his life, seemingly knowing Stark would survive the snap. This theory suggests that Stark will go on to wield the Infinity Stones against the Mad Titan in Avengers 4. Let us explain further. The theory stems from an early scene in Avengers Infinity War when Stark and Pepper Potts were discussing their relationship and the idea of having a baby in the future. Potts pointed out that Stark might never be ready to be a suitable father figure, as long as he has Iron Man-related tech installed in his chest. In the past, the tech has always been an arc reactor, but Stark responded to Potts by pointing out that it was now just the storage area for his new nanotech suit, and his life wasn't dependent on it. Essentially, the scene made audiences aware that Stark's body was capable of housing some pretty powerful stuff, and that's where the Infinity Stones come in. In Avengers 4, could Stark end up wielding the Infinity Stones? How cool would it be if he had a suit with an arc reactor that had slots for each stone all around the light in its center? The answer is that it would be absolutely awesome. You can't deny it. Before Doctor Strange willingly gave the Time Stone to Thanos in order to save Stark's life, the Master of the Mystic Arts had previously stated quite categorically that he'd happily sacrifice both Stark and Peter Parker if it means holding on to the green Infinity Stone. But Strange had gone on to view more than 14 million possible outcomes of the conflict with the Mad Titan, and only one of them saw the heroes ultimately win. You have to assume that by giving Thanos the Time Stone, Strange set into motion that one successful outcome, and Stark's survival was integral to it. Was giving the Time Stone away the only way to 100% guarantee it would ultimately end up in the possession of the genius billionaire playboy philanthropist? We think so, but given that Thanos currently has all 6 stones in his possession and looks nothing short of unstoppable, you're probably wondering how on earth Tony Stark will get his hands on them. Well, that's where the next part of the theory comes in.
I shouldn't be alive. Unless it was for a reason.
Time travel is going to play a major part in the plot of Avengers 4, with Tony Stark's role in past movies being altered as a result. In set photos for the 4th Avengers installment, he's clearly wearing a SHIELD uniform during the Battle of New York, which took place in 2012's Avengers movie, and that's different to what he was wearing when said battle took place in the original timeline, which suggests that the MCU timeline has somehow been altered to make it so Stark was a major player in the Nick Fury-fronted espionage organization years ago. This theory suggests that some heroes, maybe Ant-Man, the Wasp, and Hawkeye, who were notably absent in Avengers Infinity War, have used the Quantum Realm to go back in time in order to warn the Avengers and S.H.I.E.L.D. of Thanos' plans, which results in the Stark of the past taking a more responsible approach to protecting the world and making it his mission to gather the Infinity Stones before the Mad Titan. Avengers 4 may show Stark's quest to obtain them before going into battle with Thanos, with the Infinity Stones powering his iconic red and gold armor. He could get his hands on the Space Stone and Mind Stone during the Battle of New York. He could join Thor in his battle with Malekith to obtain the Reality Stone. He could contact Wong to get his hands on the Time Stone. He could travel to Morag to collect the Power Stone, and heartbreakingly, he might have to sacrifice someone he loves on Vormir to obtain the Soul Stone. The comic books certainly provide a precedent for this scenario. Tony Stark has indeed wielded the Infinity Gauntlet on panel before, and that certainly adds credence to this theory. Of course, any use of the stones comes at an enormous cost to the bearer, unless they're already incredibly powerful, which humans are not. When Thanos snapped his fingers, using all of the stones appeared to destroy the Infinity Gauntlet, so Stark using them could result in him having to sacrifice himself to do whatever is required to either kill the Mad Titan before he obtains the Infinity Stones again, or undo everything he did with them by taking the Infinity Stones from a different timeline back to the one where Thanos snapped his fingers. Eesh, this is really complicated. I hope you're keeping up. Of course, there's always the possibility that Extremis could come back into play. You may remember Extremis from Iron Man 3. It was the serum developed by Aldrich Killian and AIM, which wasn't perfected at the time. If Stark could perfect it, he would gain a powerful regenerative healing ability, so maybe he could survive using the Infinity Stones in spite of his otherwise fragile human nature. The whole thing makes sense. Tony Stark was the character who kicked the MCU off back in 2008, and he's the franchise's flagship character, and the Infinity Stones coming together is what the franchise has been leading up to since then. It's only right that the two entities would come together to give the first three phases a fitting conclusion. Exactly what he'd do with the stones is anybody's guess. He's obviously an extremely creative guy, so pretty much anything could happen if he possessed all six. In addition to doing whatever needs to be done to defeat Thanos, he could do so much good with them, and indeed benefit himself in so many ways, which you can't rule out him doing given the narcissistic nature of Tony Stark. He'd probably give himself a ripped torso and larger IQ or something.
That's not bad.
If indeed Stark isn't killed by the use of the stones, he could go on to hand 5 of them out to his most trusted allies, forming the MCU version of the Infinity Watch or the Illuminati in the process. He could then take more of a supporting role in the franchise going forward, guiding its new generation of heroes as and when he's needed. Regardless of exactly how it all goes down, Tony Stark with the Infinity Stones is an awesome prospect. And if this theory turns out to be true, we are totally here for it. Are you?
Let's face it, this is not the worst thing you've got me doing.
And that is the end of our video. Did you enjoy it? Do you think this is how Tony Stark will save the day in the 4th Avengers movie? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Screen Rant for more great videos like this one. Bye for now!